Monitoring the Future study is a great study. So they look at 8 or 10,000 adolescents across the nation and sort of measure sort of what is the drug trends between 8th graders, 10th graders, and 12th graders. And marijuana has been on the increase, and I'm concerned about that. A lot of people sort of think of marijuana as a drug that may be similar to alcohol, that really there's not significant consequences to it, and that it ought to be legalized. I'm concerned about it because there are significant physiologic interactions or implications to using marijuana. But also what I'm most concerned about too, like nicotine, marijuana can be a gateway drug that can sort of lead to other drugs like cocaine or ecstasy, or even prescription opiates or heroin. And so most concerning to me is that rise, because that rise indicates we'll probably see a rise in other drugs as a result. These are man-made versions of cannabis, or the active ingredient that we see in marijuana. And commonly that's been referred to as K2. And since they are man-made, they aren't really illegal in many states yet, although more and more states are making them illegal. But kids have been using that more and more over the last several years. And there's a sort of a cross-dependency that develops with marijuana too. So if the K2 is not available, then they're likely to use marijuana. If the marijuana is not available, they're very likely to use K2 or these synthetic cannabinoids. They are unpredictable. They can have some similar effects as marijuana, but the dosages, and there's not any kind of regulation or of how that is produced or manufactured. So they can be anywhere from extremely potent to not very potent at all. And so sort of depending on the potency and the dose that you take, which could vary widely, in different ways that it might be distributed, that might affect sort of your reaction to it. And up to and including some blood pressure changes or psychosis, hearing things or seeing things that aren't there, can be part of extreme intoxication with that. The time to get involved with your kids about drugs is well before they're of the age that they'd probably be using or when you suspect it. Develop an open communication line with your kid. Be interested in what they're interested in, talk to them, discuss these things with them well before any event might happen. Develop a good relationship with your kids so that when something happens that you may suspect, or have some worries about, you both have a way to communicate about it. Then, once that does happen, be open and, ask them if you're suspicious about something or worried about something. Have a relationship with your kid where you can talk to them about that and discuss it, where they might be able to tell you what's going on too.